The PLL season starts tomorrow in Albany. Get excited. That being said, this is Haley's first PLL season on this podcast. She has no team allegiance. Tyler, are you a Water Dogs fan?
I'm a Water Dogs fan. Yeah,
Bulldog.
I'm a big Bulldogs guy. There's no cat mascots, as far as I know, in the PLL. So I went with my second favorite animal, the bulldog, the English bulldog, to be exact.
I'm a Chrome fan because they were the worst team in the league when I started watching the PLL, and so were the Jags. So I thought it was destiny, and that's why I chose to be a Chrome fan. And now they kind of rock, so it's sick, and so do the Jags. So you know what? Underdogs and shitty teams, we have our time, bitches. So that being said, Haley has decided to choose her team based off of uniforms, I think, question mark.
Yeah, so we the PLL uniform drop came out recently this past week. So we were discussing before the show. I had to pick a team, pick an allegiance. As we're going to get into, they don't really have cities attached to them. So I was like, well, I'm going to pick based off which uniform I like the best. So I think my allegiance is going to be, not knowing any of that lore, my answer is the Chrome, just because I'm living for this Miami Vice look, and I think it's a super sweet uniform. So
I should have worn my Chrome jersey.
I'm so in.
But I wore it on Saturday, so I can't wear it again for a hot second. But yeah, I like them for the most part. I think that they went a little bit more street style, which I appreciate. I will say I think that my favorites of all of them, I think the cannon stuff is really boring, like super boring. I get that they're red, white, and blue, but you can do so much more with that. I'm going to go with a D on these. Whip snakes, I feel like you can also do a lot more with them. Going to give them a D. Water dogs, C. Archers have kind of a boring logo, but really cool colors. I'm going to go with an A for them. I think that the orange jersey rocks. I like the arrows on the sides. I like that the logo's big. I like this rebrand for them. The Redwoods, A+. I love these Redwoods uniforms.
I don't love those skid marks.
I do. Why don't you like them?
I just think it looks a little cheesy. I don't know. It just isn't my favorite thing in the world.
I think it gives some texture to it. I
do like the attempt at the texture, but
yeah,
because I feel like a lot of the most boring ones don't have anything going on.
I like that they're not just a solid color, because their logo is a little bit boring. Because if you were to wear them with a plain pair of pants or a plain bottom, I think that it just would give more to the look. I like these a lot. Atlas C. Is it oh wait, shit, no, okay.
Great color on the Atlas.
If you zoom, okay, I didn't notice this at first. If you zoom in on the Atlas blue jersey, there's texture, on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, these are so much cooler than I originally thought. And the pants match. These are an A. These are an A.
I love these.
The pant print matches the bottom of the jerseys. That is so sick.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Dude, really? Why did the cannons just do nothing? Why did they give nothing?
It's nothing.
They went very red, white, and patriotic. Yeah.
The Atlas ones might be my favorite ones now that Jackson is having a nightmare. Just because of that print, that is so cool.
What do you have a picture of the Chaos's pants? Because the Chaos, I think, is my favorite jersey with that random chaos texture. I love it.
Yeah, they're just regular,
I do like that.
Red.
The chrome, it's hard to have a shitty chrome look just because their colors are so cool, but on the white jerseys, the rainbow around the sleeve is so fire. I think that
we got to see the pants in this. I don't think we can see the pants.
Yeah, you don't get to see the pants. I am hoping that there are pink pants.
Yeah, let me look up a full image and send that to you.
I like the Chaos red jerseys. That print
Chaos red jerseys are so sick, I think.
Yeah,
I think they're easily my number one. They do have a cool logo, a cool texture. I like the shade of red.
I do like the shade of red. And I like that they have the LC in the logo. I think that is...
The LC in the logo is very cool.
Fire.
It feels very like European soccer that way.
Yeah. I think that the Water Dogs, the Whip Snakes, and the Cannons are the real losers for me here.
Mm-hmm. What is that texture on the side of the Whip Snakes?
Is there texture on the side of it?
Yeah, there's a little texture on the side. It
I
looks
don't
like
see any. Oh,
it's like a snakeskin kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's like just not even noticeable enough. I wish that it went down to the pants.
I wish it were covering the whole jersey.
That,
I think
or
that
if it
would've
was
been
like
cool.
that pink red color, that would be sick.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the helmets really take the cake for me across the board
I
here,
don't have the
though.
helmets up.
They're holding them in some of the
Yeah,
pictures
you can hold them in some of the pictures.
or wearing them. I think the helmets are the coolest part about a lot of the team's new uniforms. Specifically the fact that the chrome dome is a thing now is fucking so sick. Those silver chrome helmets. I want to make one into a flower pot real bad.
Who's wearing the chrome?
Chrome?
Oh, yeah, obviously. I just can't see a picture of it. Is it like Notre Dame chrome?
I tweeted it. I can find it for you.
They're so sweet. They're so sweet.
Actually, I'll just pull
I'm not
up
a
there.
huge Notre Dame guy. Not gonna lie.
These are the chrome dome. Oh, that's loud.
That's not bad. That little pink stripe down the middle.
The black one and the silver, and they're both chrome. Bro, that is the coldest, cleanest helmet I have ever seen in any sport, and I'm not saying that because I'm a fan. Truly, like the chrome dome with the pink in the fact that you have alternate helmets too that are black with the pink chrome. That is just I'm sweaty thinking about it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think it would be cool if the Chaos. I do like that they have the red chrome helmet, but I kind of wish that their black helmet had that like texture that's on the red jersey on it.
Mm-hmm. It would have been cool if they could have figured that out. I feel like that might be tough to do on a helmet. Like, yeah, lacrosse helmets are kind of complex, and doing like a texture like that might just be a little bit too much on the helmet.
The Atlas all white, I do like an all white helmet, but I do wish that there was a little bit more to it. And I like that the Woods have a green helmet. That's fire. The Archers are kind of giving Bengals.
I will say,
yeah, a little bit.
Looking at the pennies, because I love a good penny. And they have the regular Canon logo on the penny, and it looks so much nicer than what they did on the jersey. I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't really the Cannons as a whole, which sucks because they're gonna inevitably be the Boston team, and they are the Boston team. I just wish that it's so boring. It's so boring, top to bottom, like all of it. I like the darker helmet. Is it like the navy? Like that one's fine. It's cool. But I mean, and I'm not even trying to shit on them at all. I don't get it. Fail. Any other uniform helmet thoughts before we pick cities?
No, ma'am.
So the PLL announced that they are having teams now reside in cities. They are letting fans vote on where they want to see these teams be. So we decided that the bulk of our show this week is going to be us picking where we think that these teams should wind up, what cities fit them. Some of us got a little crazy for certain picks. So we'll start with Haley. We're going to start with the Chaos. And Haley, where do you think that the Chaos should be? Because we have the same choice, and I think it's the only place that makes sense.
So it's funny because I will be coming from a strictly visual perspective. You have all the intel on how these teams actually play, what their fan bases are like. I'm going in completely blind. I put the Chaos in Las Vegas. They're giving me desert vibes with this scorpion uniform, and we just know Las Vegas is an amazing sports town, and I wouldn't be shocked if they would have a lacrosse team at their disposal. So I put them in Vegas.
Yeah, I think Vegas makes sense. It is a scorpion on their logo. Obviously, desert. Them and the NLL Desert Dogs, I think, would be like a cool combo. Plus, obviously, Vegas is like a booming sports market at the moment, especially with them getting an MLB team approved to be moved. That's pretty rad. I don't think that you could choose anything but the desert for the Chaos somewhere. So, Tyler, that can...
Yeah, I did go with pick. Yeah, I went with a desert. I went with desert a little further east, maybe.
That would be southwest.
Southwest? I don't know. I went with Albuquerque. The Albuquerque Chaos.
That does sound cool.
It sounds great.
But Las Vegas Chaos is just the epitome of the city to me, and that's just kind of funny.
It does fit in Las Vegas. I feel like realistically probably it makes more sense. But Albuquerque's just so cool. They don't really have much representation. I feel like it'd be a good sports team to have. Knowing absolutely nothing about the game of lacrosse. It would also feel like they play outdoors, right? Very hot in either of those places to play outdoor lacrosse.
I assume that they would probably have either visors or you could, because it's a summer sport and there's no shot. I remember last year when maybe it was in like DC or something and the temperatures were so hot on the turf. I think it was Michael Sowers who was overheating, maybe. I don't remember who. I want to say it was Michael Sowers who was like having some problems like overheating. While I do think that there needs to be a desert team, I think that they're going to have to figure that out before.
Yeah, that's kind of making me think that they may stick to more like northeastern, northern situation for their teams.
Yeah,
it's going to be so hot.
Yeah, I don't think that you can do that just geographically where your fan base is and stuff, especially because the way that lacrosse is like kind of boomed in places like Texas and Southern California and Florida in the last couple of years. I don't think that you can ignore those markets by any means, but there is going to have to be like some sort of like safety protocol, standard night games, shades, something like that. I think you like same with NFL, like it's towards the end of the summer and you're in full pads and stuff. Like there's just got to be something to prevent overheating, because I do remember like the heat last year being a real issue.
Hey, those water boys.
Yeah, hydration specialists.
I was gonna say, I wonder, like, it would be interesting to see if they do work with the NCAA and how they monitor their athletes that play outside for men's lacrosse in the spring. I can't speak on that because I've never worked for a school that has a program, so I wonder how they would deal with that out
Train
west.
Gang.
Train tier.
Shout out the Train, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, the Train. Our favorite guest, reoccurring
guest. Weekly guest.
The Train, Ben DiNucci, and
Josh Gordon.
No, there's another one. Mike McDaniel.
That's friends of the program.
Friends of the show.
Haley and I only have one more matching pick, I believe, and it is for our Chrome. I
think this is a selfish pick on our behalf because I would kind of love to go do one of these events if they could go.
Florida team. We both think Miami. Haley said that it was giving Miami Vice, and I couldn't agree more. And okay, Haley, I said this last year on the show, but I need you to see it. Do you remember that episode of Kim Possible with like the fish man? This guy?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think that's the Chrome's inspo, which is giving Florida man. So I'm going to make this an almost Saturday.
Yes.
So incredible. I think that's another point to Miami. That is the Florida man Chrome Dome calling it, but Tyler disagrees with us.
Yeah, Miami is the obvious choice.
I like
it's
Tyler's
very
choice
Miami
too,
Vice.
though.
I tried to stick with the same. Like it also feels kind of San Diego, Southern California.
I agree.
It's very like those colors also fit in Southern California.
We love San Diego.
Yeah. Love San Diego.
I do like that pick. I think both of those cities would be sick, and I would have no problem visiting for games.
Yeah.
My only thing is that it is San Diego, not San Diego.
San Diego.
Meant to
Spanish for a whale's vagina.
Yep. I wasn't gonna say it.
Well, I did. What's that? I'm not gonna keep. Never mind. The intrusive thoughts are taking over. Tyler's water dogs. Where do you have your water dogs?
So I just kind of, they're definitely an East Coast team for me.
Have to be.
I went with Raleigh, but the more thinking about it, I think on the fly I'm going to move them to Charlotte, North Carolina. Both in North Carolina. It just feels very North Carolina. I like their colors. I feel like purple kind of goes with North Carolina a little bit in my mind.
The Raleigh Water Dogs sounds kind of sick.
Raleigh Water Dogs does sound kind of sick. Charlotte Water Dogs, maybe not as much, but somewhere in North Carolina, I think is where I've decided on.
I have convinced myself, just because lacrosse is big in the state of Washington, and I like the Washington Water Dogs, that is what makes sense in my brain.
We do love an alliteration.
We big alliteration team. But I also really like Haley's pick just because I do think that inevitably, just because the amount of lacrosse talent that comes out of these two states, one team has to wind up here.
Yeah, I have to say exactly what you said, just from a collegiate level, the talent that comes out of the Maryland, Virginia area, even obviously now that we're seeing the sport just grow and expand, especially youth lacrosse in this area, I know is huge. I also just associate the color purple with you, Tyler, because you are a JMU alum and they are purple.
Fair.
So
and dogs.
I went
with Virginia, Maryland area.
Not really in the like Maryland D&D area, but
maybe Baltimore,
but
Annapolis. We'll see.
Now, Kendra, question: did you mean Washington State or
Yes.
Washington D.C.? Okay.
Washington State.
Okay.
Yes.
Because if it was D.C., I was like, oh, we're all in the same kind of genre.
I do think that they should be an East Coast team, but I know that a team is going to have to wind up in that Washington region, I think, inevitably. So that's why I did that and alliteration gang. Whip snakes. I feel as though that could be anywhere, and we all have completely different opinions. We already did shout out San Diego. I think San Diego makes sense for the Whip Snakes, although I think they have to have a team in LA just because their office is in LA. So I just think like this is going to be their Southern California team, probably, in my opinion. Haley, where do you have Whip Snakes?
For the same reasons that you had the Water Dogs, I had them in Seattle, just same exact reasoning as you. We're going to need something in that Pacific Northwest area, especially with, you look at some of the schools up there that are producing great lacrosse talent. It's on the border with Canada. I think there's just, I don't know, there's a lot of good potential there. So I put them in Seattle just because I can't really think of maybe Portland, Oregon, something
Do we
else.
think that there will be a Canadian team?
I hope so. I have a Canadian team on my
list.
Okay.
I feel like they have to, but at the same time, I'm like, is that a travel situation that would be more difficult potentially?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's any more difficult than traveling from California to Virginia.
But do they still have like vaccine mandates and stuff is what I mean?
I think they're a little bit easier on that now. I could be mistaken. I don't know my my law, but I think it's easier now than it was 2 years ago.
Where do you have the Whip Snakes, Tyler?
I have the Whip Snakes. I kind of felt like their jerseys and their colors were kind of like Colorado-y in my eyes. So I got them in Denver, the Denver Whip Snakes.
I like that. I think that Denver also
like a little good like middle of the country situation, even though I guess it's closer to the West. But
the reason I associate a team going to Denver, and I don't know this for sure, so only take this to face value. I feel as though lacrosse players give bro energy, like Brad Chad energy, and that means that they smoke weed, and Denver is pro weed, which is why I'm like, okay, lax bro, Denver, weed culture.
It does make sense. I know a lot of people that played on the lacrosse team in my high school are now in Colorado. So
I have the Archers going somewhere else, but I think that they could even be like a cool Denver team because the Denver Archers sounds cool, and they have the same colors as the Broncos.
Orange. All about that orange. We were talking about that before the pod.
Might call an audible.
Yeah, that's a great audible.
Atlas, Haley, where do you have them?
So I was just looking at this. I have them in Texas. I think you have to have a team in Texas, obviously, just population wise and lacrosse wise. With it being one of the higher population states, there's going to be more lacrosse players coming out of that area. So I think that that's a fan market that they're going to obviously need to tap into. Looking at their fan data, they have the NLL team in Fort Worth, which I was surprised by, which makes me think maybe they would go for a bigger city like Dallas or San Antonio. Their jerseys are very San Antonio rodeo vibes, so I could see that easily. Also, I wanted to note that they're giving me Longhorn Restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah. It is a longhorn skull in their logo. Same thinking, just before you get into yours, Kendra. I also went Texas. I went Austin specifically just for the alliteration.
Here's my thing. I know that there's gonna have to be a New York team. I just don't want there to be a New York team. So many.
New York.
So many lacrosse players are from Long Island. The PLL does so much stuff in Albany. I am calling an audible here and going the Albany Atlas instead of Atlanta just because I did like the way that sounds. So I'm going Albany because I think we need New York. There's obviously going to be New York representation. The PLL loves Albany. They have opening weekend there, training camp weekend there. Like I think that makes sense. I'm going Albany Atlas, especially because there's also the Long Island option, but I think that this makes more sense.
What was the historical team that played in New York, that was based out of New York? Historically, do you know?
I don't remember. I don't know. I feel like we could probably use the Google machine.
I wonder, we're going to talk about it with this next one as we talk about the cannons, but I wonder when they do the fan vote, if they're going to take that into account.
The cannons we all have going to Boston. Like there's no, that's basically.
So it's such a perfect fit.
Right.
Yeah.
The colors, everything.
Yep. I think that they would probably have some rioters, even that aren't Cannons fans, if they didn't wind up in Boston.
And lacrosse is huge in New England. I don't know if you've had that
experience,
Kendra, but I have found growing up here that it is probably one of the more popular sports.
Dude, when we were in college, the UNH lacrosse team was sick.
Yeah, really incredible.
Now, do you think they would go Boston specifically, or do you think they would go New England?
No, I think you have to do. I think you have to do the Boston Cannons.
I think so too, especially if the whole concept of the initiative is city based. You're gonna have to pick Boston for sure.
So Haley and I went with the obvious sort of choices with the Redwoods, but Tyler didn't, so I'm picking him first.
So yeah, this is my Canadian team. I went with Vancouver. They kind of are. I feel like there's Redwoods in the area. I don't know. I've been to California once and the West Coast once in my life. Vancouver feels like Redwood fits the name, but I don't know. I wanted a Canadian team, and Redwoods seemed like the most obvious choice for me.
Haley just has California in the notes, but I feel like you would have to pick a city if you're making Tyler pick a city.
Yeah, so they definitely have to have a California team. Obviously, the LA home base is a great point. I'm sure there's a lot of, I would imagine there's more venue opportunities in Southern California than Northern California. So I would go with LA or San Diego, but also if you think about it geographically, which I know we're always like, whatever, Redwoods are in Northern California. So something like Sacramento or something up there would make sense too.
I had them in San Jose. The San Jose Redwoods make sense to me. I used to live in San Jose, for people who don't know. And when I lived there, it was probably 2014 to 2015. And the area just kind of started to blow up. Like all of the restaurants started to move in. The Sharks were playing really well for the first time in a while. I think that the San Jose market makes sense. It's close enough. It is like Redwood country. Like if you just go 45 minutes north without having to be somewhere like Sacramento. I think San Francisco also doesn't really make that much sense, just because I think San Jose Redwoods sounds cooler than San Francisco Redwoods. And plus I think that they would probably have an easier time there as far as people getting around and having things to do. I don't know. That's just my thought process there. So I'm going to go San Jose. I think it's a little bit different. I do think inevitably, like I said, a team's going to be in LA, but I'm going to rock with San Jose because shout out.
So can I blow your mind real quick?
Yes.
Next year, you will have been arriving in California 10 years ago.
Ooh, I don't like that at all.
Crazy.
I'm really all set with that. Last but not least, we have the Archers. I think this is my Texas team. I'm going Austin Archers. Tyler, why?
I don't understand this one.
I honestly was just out of cities, and I don't know where Archers are in the United States.
There's only 8 cities.
Where's the archery capital of the world? I don't know. So I threw a dart and picked Boise, Idaho. Send them to Boise.
So Tyler did not take sports marketing in college.
Well, oddly enough, that is like basically my major.
I know. That was the joke, because anyone would tell you that Boise, Idaho cannot maintain a sports marketing.
The archery capital.
Maintain the Boise, what are they? The Broncos, Boise State. Shout out.
That's
Blue
true.
turf.
That's true. That's true.
The archery capital of the world is in Switzerland.
What's in Switzerland?
International team.
The Switzerland Archers.
We're going international.
All right. Where do you have them going? Chicago. Okay, why Chicago?
I think we were lacking a little bit of the Midwest action. That Ohio area, Illinois. I'm gonna go Chicago.
I could see the Water Dogs going to Chicago.
Why? Because they're Barstool affiliated?
Yep, exactly.
Time has shown recently that Chicago teams are really struggling. So
honestly, that would make a lot of sense if that did happen, though.
Yeah.